Kwe guys, it's Issa. If you haven't seen my last video, I told you what Kwe means, but it means hey, hi. So I was just saying hey, what's up in my language or the Lnuismk language. Today I'm going to be talking about the history of my people, some personal things, and what the Mik'Maq tribe has to go through, and also many other Native Canadians out there. Um, so the Mik'Maq tribe populated in Nova Scotia but moved to Quebec, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. This tribe was civil and traded with the French also, but soon the French wanted to overtake their land and take control of the beaver fur trade. Since beaver fur was very valuable back then. So what they did is they killed and then they destroyed all the villages or most of the villages. But soon after that, they decided we're just gonna make them forget about their history, their culture, and even their language. And so this happened to my great grandma. She's still alive today, so that's good. But she shared a couple stories with me, and what practically happened was she was taken away from her family, and this happened to other young Native kids out there. So they were just taken away from their family, and they were sent to Native American residential boarding schools. So it was just strict people, and they went to boarding homes, which was oversaw by nuns. And the nuns, they get real strict and everything. So politicians back then used religion as a way to control and manipulate people, and that's exactly what they did to the Native Americans. British colonies made a policy in 1713 that outlined bringing Native people from their savage and unproductive state and forcing English-style civilization and making Canada sorry guys, a homogeneous society led by Christian traditions. Therefore, these schools would force the young natives to not speak the language, not practice their culture, and wiping out their whole heritage. In 1913, a man by the name of Duncan Scott was named head of the Department of Indian Affairs, and at this time he made it mandatory that all Native Americans were to attend the residential schools. Duncan Scott said, and I quote, "I want to rid of the Indian problem. I do not think, as a matter of fact, that the country ought to be continuously protecting class people who are unable to stand alone. Our objective is to continue until there is not a single Indian in Canada that has not been absorbed into the body political, and there is no Indian question and no Indian department. That is the whole object of this bill." Dr. Duncan Campbell Scott, 1920. But let me read you another quote from the book of a book called "We Are Not the Savages." This quote is by a 15-year-old girl that attended one of these boarding schools. And she says, "I've been going to the Indian school for the past 5 years. Before my holidays this year, I was employed in kitchen for 11 weeks. In the 11 weeks, I spent a total of 2 weeks in the school. The sister, or the nun, has beaten me many times over the head and pulled my hair and struck me on the back of the neck with the ruler, and times a hold of me and beat me with the back of her fist. I've also been ordered to stand outside of the windows with a rope around my waist to clean windows on the 4th floor with a little girl holding the rope. When I told the sister, or the nun, I was afraid to go out the window, she scolded me and made me clean the window and threatened to beat me if I didn't do it. This is being done to other children. After we get a beating, we are asked what we got the beating for, and if we tell them we don't know, we get another beating. The sisters, or the nuns, always tell us to not tell our parents about getting a beating." In my opinion, I would say that was crazy. Getting beaten you don't even know what you got beaten for, but you have to make something up. And you might even have to say, because I'm a Native American, and they'll accept that, I guess. But this is only a small portion of my Mik'Maq history, because for the rest of it, Canada took long strides or better strides to make or give back treaty value during the 1700s to help the natives, especially the Mik'Maq tribe, to be better and all that. But before all this craziness happened of the French coming in, the Mik'Maq tribe was a stable and a growing society, And they even made special houses for the winter. And during the summer, they made beach houses, which I thought was kind of cool. And they usually would hunt for like cod, moose, geese, beaver, lobster even, because they lots of lobster up there. They never wasted anything. Like for example, the moose. The fur was used for clothing. The meat was used for food, of course. The antlers were for decoration. The bones were for carving and tools. So I mean, like they use everything. Like they never try to like waste anything. But the key weapon for all this was the bow and arrow. So what they did is they used maple wood, which was like a flexible but a sturdy wood. Um, they also hunted aquatic mammals, so they probably had like spears and all that to kill like whales, walruses, and seals during like the winter climate. The Mi'Maq tribe also had many treaties and trading agreements with the tribes all across America, not America, but I should say Canada. They made a venture down into like Maine because like they had Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and all that, but like the northeast part of Maine. So they probably had maybe a few American tribes that they probably traded with. They even were credited for inventing the ice hockey stick, which I thought was pretty cool in my opinion. And they also, for like their lobster, keep it like cool and all that. What they did is they dug underground and like they put like a container and they put the lobster under there, like in like the underground compartment, and that would just keep it cool or ready until like they wanted to eat it practically. So as I said, they invented like the ice hockey stick. I mean, I don't know if they invented this sport, but they definitely invented the ice hockey stick, and they're very greatly credited for what they did. Also, they were vital part in world wars because over 500 men served in both world wars. This is only but a small portion of my people's history. But also the quotes I told you. Plus, if you guys want to know about the dictionary, I will leave links in the description below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment also down below to tell me how I can even get better. One last thing, guys. Don't forget about the word of the day. So the word of the day today is Ipa'tu, or Ipa'tu. It's spelled Atiu. It means goodbye. So at the end of this video, I'm like Ipa'tu, which should just mean hey, goodbye, guys. So yeah. So don't forget to do all that good jazz. And thanks for watching. And Ipa'tu.